Rob, first things first, ahead of the weekend, I mean, just to touch on yourself, obviously you were going to miss the Hereford game last weekend with an operation, but by the sounds of it, managed to persuade Fraser to take you down last minute. So how have things kind of been going with yourself on that operation front, and I suppose what was the sort of general feeling once you did manage to actually get down to the game?
Yeah, no, it's good. Fraser's been brilliant, helped me out getting the operation. It's something I needed doing on my knee for the last year or so. But it just got to the point where I was struggling quite a bit, and luckily between him and the surgeon did such a good job, and I felt amazing. So obviously it's been such a tough year, like for me, struggling with my knee, that having the operation cleared that all up, and I felt $1 million after. Might have had something to do with the painkillers maybe, but and then I managed to convince Fraser to drive me down, because if I'm going to be sitting in bed and not really struggling, I'd rather be with the lads, and I just couldn't bear the thought of not being there for them. Not that it makes that much difference, I'm sure, but yeah, we're a squad and a team, and yeah, having a bit of a sore knee watching the game isn't really that much of a hardship compared to what the lads put themselves through. So yeah, I was so pleased I went down there, and obviously it's such a brilliant performance, so proud of the boys. Obviously had to change things around. Again, injuries are hitting us hard and fast, and but overall just really pleased with the day.
I mean, you touch on the trophy at the weekend there. Of course, getting through that sets up a home tie in the quarter-final as well. Obviously still a little way away at the moment, but on the front of the actual draw itself, I suppose just a draw at home really is probably what you were hoping for, I imagine.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've had a few longer ones, haven't we? So draw at home is obviously a preference, and we know it's going to be a tough game against Peterborough. Got a brilliant result against Kiddie, and got a lot of experience in terms of the player manager. And Luke Still, obviously, as well, assistant manager. So going to be a really tough game, but obviously we have to park that to one side and back to the league and back to trying to continue where we've left off from in the good results the past 3 games. We know it's going to be a difficult game Saturday. Sounds like it's going to be difficult conditions with the amount of games being called off. I think we're still waiting for clarity on the game being on. We think it's going to be on, but we know that if it is going to be on, it's going to be a difficult surface. But again, that comes to our no excuse culture. We'll always back ourselves to play our way regardless of the environment. And what I'm looking forward to is a fantastic game against a really good team. Wealdstone play very good football. They've got very good individuals. They're going through a little bit of transition, which we went through with the manager leaving. So we know it's going to be a tough game in front of a good, proper non-league crowd and stadium, but with a team that, in my opinion, play very, very good football, who I really enjoy watching.
Yeah, you mentioned Wealdstone there in that sort of transitional period as well, of course, with Stuart Maynard going to Notts County fairly recently, but you're expecting there, I mean, it doesn't sound like you're expecting it to really be too much difference in the way they play and the style they've been implementing over the past, well, probably longer than the past year or so, really. But as well, you mentioned the conditions. I mean, I imagine it's not really what either side would hope for in terms of trying to play out and getting the ball on the deck and stuff, if it is going to be a little bit more of a difficult one to contend with.
No, it's not going to be ideal for both teams, obviously. Wealdstone have recruited their manager who plays similar style of football, did fantastically well at St Albans previously, and hence why he's making the step up. And I think I'm just really looking forward to the game, because I really enjoy these games, where both teams back themselves to play. I think where Wealdstone are good in the fact they can mix it up a little bit. They've got good power in the forward areas, and they can be more direct when they need to be. Something which we need to add to our game as well, being able to mix it up. And then along with, they've got players who've been there for a while now, have got good experience at this level, and understand their roles and responsibilities. And yeah, if we don't go there fully on it, willing to give proper battling performance, making sure we're good in and out of possession, then it's going to be a really tough day for us. So we're just looking forward to the challenge, looking forward to the very compact fixture schedule that we're going to get over the next 7.5 weeks. I think we have to play 17 games in seven weeks, so we're going to need every single body, and there's going to be times where we're light, and that's where everyone has to step up, and that's where I've been immensely proud of the boys, and the mentality mainly that I'm trying to galvanise around the group is that sometimes you have to find ways to win, sometimes you have to be good in and out of possession, but always backing our principles and backing ourselves, no matter who we're playing against, to dominate the game and implement our style on top of theirs.
Yeah, and you mentioned in terms of the schedule there, I think this is probably the only week coming in the foreseeable future where you've just got a Saturday straight to a Saturday game. Every other week's pretty much Tuesday, Saturday, some of them quite lengthy trips away from home, some of them here at home, of course, all with a mix of postponements and trophy games kind of causing that with you getting through to successive rounds and things like that. But I suppose now, as in recent games, obviously you made a few changes on Saturday at Hereford, but you have the options to kind of be able to contend with that congestion a little bit better than a month or two ago, possibly.
Yeah, I think on paper we've got a lot of players, a lot of bodies, but in reality, obviously we had 3 on the bench Saturday. We're struggling to get a squad together for this Saturday, unfortunately, with injuries. We're obviously having to balance the books because of injuries this year. We have to make decisions, and we have to make sure that ultimately the club financially can continue and is stable enough to get through to the end of the season. But again, what I do is back every single player at the place to be able to step in regardless of time being injured or playing out of position slightly. It's where our biggest strength is, and where I've been so proud of the lads, the character they've shown, and yeah, hopefully going forward for this sort of period of games where they're coming thick and fast, with hopefully the likes of Tinks, Greggy, Tommy coming back fit, Boots as well, hopefully in a couple of weeks, Connor after knock he picked up Saturday, in a couple of weeks, hopefully, touch wood, we'll get a bit more luck and we'll get stronger and stronger to the point where we've got our everyone back fit and available to help us with the big push, because we are going to need everyone to maintain this push towards the end of the season, and to make sure that what's been a really positive season so far continues in that light. And there are going to be challenging times ahead, there's going to be difficult times, but ultimately I believe when you look at the history of this sort of team, this group in the last 18 months, I think they've always got through them challenges and become better from it. And yeah, hopefully as we gain more experience and we gain more traction and understanding of each other, because it's still a new group coming in together, things will just improve and we'll get more and more out of the players and the individuals, and we can just look forward to watching what we all like doing, watching our fantastic young players play good football and enjoying themselves.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned a little bit on the injury front there, a few lads struggling with sort of different problems in recent games. Of course, Joe went off on Saturday, Kenton on Tuesday, seemingly with a little bit of a hamstring issue, possibly. Eddie's, of course, missed a couple of games with illness. I think Conor Panny's come back off his loan and he's still been injured a little bit recently. Obviously, Regan's suspension finished and then he's been injured, so he couldn't play. I mean, a few sort of issues for you to deal with, but how are the more sort of recent boys faring in terms of how long they might be out for?
Yeah, not the best. We've got Kent's will be out for a month or so, hopefully back for the next trophy game. Boots, a couple more weeks rest with his back issue. We just need to respect that, because it could have been something quite serious, but touch wood, got some good news that he'll be back in a couple of weeks. Joe Grayson, we're just going to have to monitor him, hope he's okay for Saturday, but obviously after a very, very nasty tackle, he's fingers crossed sustained no serious damage. He's just got a lot of swelling in the knee, which we're trying to get down to get him ready. Conor McBride rolled his ankle, so he's looking at another couple of weeks out. Eddie Peach, unfortunately, bless him, has got glandular fever, so he's back at Chelsea, he's resting up, so he has to miss at least 4 weeks of football because of the health and safety issues with you can't have any contact while you have glandular fever, because if your spleen expands and any contact could rupture. So yes, Jack, it's a very long one, it's a good medical report. There are others, but yeah, it is what it is, and I think there's no point whinging and moaning about it. We just got to embrace it, and obviously I'll back every single player. Will Constantine was tremendous when he came in on Saturday. 19 years old, travelled down in the car with me at 6 o'clock in the morning. And if Will has to play, if Bondi plays in goal, I don't really care. I'll back every one of our players, and I'll back us to find solutions and to back our structure to allow us to have the platform to play. All this adversity is only going to make us stronger as individuals and as a group. And we've talked to the big message for me the last week or so is that we're a pack, we're stronger in the pack, and we have to rely on all of us together. And when times are tough, we have to bow in together even more to make sure that we can do everything we can to keep the momentum going and keep, in my opinion, the most important thing, keep these performances coming. The results will come off the performances, but if we keep performing the way we do, then we're going to be in a position where we can hopefully achieve something special at the end of the season.